Very good. Good evening, everybody. My name is Judge Robert Carter, and I am the chairman of the Cobb County Opiate Abatement Committee meeting. This is the December the 3rd, 2025 meeting. This meeting has been adjourned from our prior meeting in September, in which we met to discuss recurring use of the remaining eligibility, the remaining funds of eligibility. At the last meeting, as I recall, it was about, was it $5,000 that was left? And we wanted some oversight, and we wanted to see how some of the expenditures played out before we actually decided what to do with the remaining $5,000. Is that, Jeff, that's correct,
Yeah.
isn't it? Anyway, before we get to that, as a matter of parliamentary procedure, we don't have any minutes to ratify. What we'll do is we'll just pass that to the next meeting, if that's all right. I'll make the motion that we pass to the next meeting to ratify both the September and the December minutes.
I second.
Very well, the ayes,
Oh,
ayes carry. We'll prepare and ratify both this month's meeting minutes and the meetings for September, although they're kind of, this meeting is really a continuation of the September meeting, and this was really just to kind of see how expenditure of those funds panned out. Does anybody have any new business to bring before the committee?
I believe the only thing I know we're gonna talk about some
Yeah.
spending of the monies of last year, because I know Mr. Nickel is here from the Public
Right.
Defender's Office. And I know that we began this meeting, this board in December of '24.
Correct.
Which, I think there needs to be some conversation of, we probably need to go ahead and open the application process
Yeah.
for the next allotment of monies. And then, and have a time period for it to open and close for us to be able to hear the, presentations to where we can make the decision. Because a lot of these things, if the monies are run through county and state budgets, have to be, there's
Yeah.
certain approvals
Yeah.
that they have to do. So I think we're on a time frame that we might need to start
are.
making decisions saying, hey, let's open the application, close it in February, and then start listening to some presentations.
So,
I don't know where we need to talk about that at, but.
well, now it's a good time. So for the edification of people in the audience and people that are watching, last year when we first received the money, what we did was, the committee is charged with allocation of the money. We get a certain pot that's been designated from the state. And these are obviously funds that the pharmaceutical industry has paid over, and every state's gotten it. And we on this committee are charged with determining what the best and most efficient use of the funds are. So this is how it worked last year, and this was the first year in operation. This is one of these things where we have to refine the process as we go along. But what we did was, we solicited invitations for presentation from people that were soliciting use for the money, and we had a period of time at one of the meetings where we opened the floor for presentations. Now, what we'll do is we're gonna do that again this year, and I think that's a good way to start this here in December, since this is the one-year anniversary of the first meeting of this committee. But what we would do is we would solicit invitations for your proposals on how to use the money, and we'd give you a certain amount of time to work up those proposals. And I think last time we gave people essentially 60 days to work it up. Does that sound right? So if we were to implement what we would probably do is at the end of January, so we would send out a solicitation through the county website for the money, for the proposed uses of the money. And we would give you guys probably another 30 or 45 days to come up with a proposal, and then we'd review the proposals, and we'd have you come up here live and explain what you want to do with the money. At which time we would adjourn, and we would determine, and this is obviously all in public record, but we would determine what would be the most efficient and best use of the money, as well as the amounts and the allocations. And the money does have strings attached. Obviously, it's got to be used for the purposes of alcohol and drug recovery here in our county, and probably most specifically drug recovery. And I think we've been pretty judicious in assigning this money for this first round, but there are recurring payments. Now, they tail off as the years go on, but there's still a substantial amount of money that will be available this year and then next year, and then obviously it tails off from there. I make a motion that we make solicitation, that we open up the county website for solicitation for the uses of the money in January, and that we give a March cutoff, and that we take proposals in April. Does that fit the timetable?
Yeah, as far as I know,
I think the only issue with that is that and we would have to check with Mariana, and
Yeah.
we'd have to check with the state of Tennessee.
Right.
Last year, we had monies that came in, and if they are being approved for the budget for the next fiscal year,
Right.
they have to be approved and given to them, because there's gotta be steps that they take. So it may need to not finish, it may need to be opened in January, closed in, say, it probably needs to be completed by March.
Yep.
And I think we
Yeah.
had it completed by March of
We did.
maybe mid-February, March of
We
last
did,
year.
we did. So that's a better timetable. It's probably more realistic. What do you guys
Mr.
think?
Chairman, I would like to say that Trevor Henderson, our regional consultant, is in attendance.
Oh, good.
If you guys have any questions or technical issues, here's the man that can answer them. He may actually have questions for you guys. So,
Well,
if
right
he
out of the gate,
would,
Mr.
if
Henderson, do you know of any times, are we up against any deadlines currently?
So if you would, Trevor, please come to a microphone so
Yeah.
you're,
This one on?
turn it on for you. Or you can sit at the table with us. if you
That
prefer.
sounds too much like power there. And so for the benefit of everybody, so every county in Tennessee gets money that comes from two pots. One comes through the state of Tennessee, and then the other one comes from Brian Greer, which is the National Opioid Settlement Organization. Both come to the county. Brian Greer money does not have any time restrictions on it, but the pot of money that comes through the state has some time restrictions. So when that money gets to the county, you have 2 years to allocate the funds. And by allocate, that usually means the county commission has signed off on, this is where it's going. And then there's another 2 years to have that spent done, so a total of 4 years. So if you're allocating them, in this upcoming cycle, if you're allocating last year's money, then again, that clock has started ticking, and you've got 2 years to get that
Got
allocated
it.
from whenever it came in. So you should have plenty of time within the time frame you were talking about. And then once an agency gets that money, now, if they can't spend it down within another 2 years, there's a problem, because, yeah, they should be able to spend that money within the year that you've given them the grant.
And that's how it's gone so
Yeah,
far.
yeah.
You know, the money that we allocated last year, it's pretty much been set out.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I think except for, there might have been a little bit left.
There was a small amount, but the way we
About
had that set
$5,000.
up was there was a certain amount of money that we had to spend out of 2023 that we were absolutely on the clock, because it had
Yeah.
already started, we were running out on the 2 year.
Yeah.
Right.
That amount of money got used, and then we also used the 24 money, other than about $5,000 to $8,000. But then really that $5,000 to $8,000, the 2 years has not run up on it yet.
Then you can just roll that into the next cycle.
Okay,
and, yeah.
that's what I thought, but
Yeah.
we wanted to check
Right.
our thought.
So-
I mean, it can make things a bit of a nightmare for county finance for reporting to it, but as long as you're managing that, you're
And so
fine.
it was actually just left in that pot, everything else that was used. I can see that, and I'm asking you this because, the state monies was, and if you want me to hand you back because I'm sure you're the one that gave me this, but was, around 292,000 in 23 and 295,000 in 24.
Yeah.
Now, when I asked that was the state monies. Now, there was also Brown Greer monies that was out there.
Yeah.
I don't believe any of that monies has been used or allocated as of yet.
I mean, that would be an internal conversation
What?
for you. So that money, it's here,
Okay.
and you do need to use it for the same purposes under that Exhibit E.
Okay.
again, you don't have a time restriction on it.
Right.
So some counties are rolling it into the whole process and doing it all together. Other counties might be doing things like they want to do a bigger project, so they might want to save that money up over a period of years to do something bigger, because there isn't a time restriction on it, you can do that. So you have more options with that pot of money,
Do you?
With the Brown Greer money.
with the Brian Greer money, yeah. And Dennis, you should have gotten an email from Ellen on our team with a brand new fact sheet. I think she sent it today or yesterday. And it's got
think
all
I'm
of your
looking.
updated payments.
This it?
Yes, so you might want to share that with everybody, because that's got all of the latest, and the Brian Greer
I
numbers
did
are there.
forward it to each one of y'all, so I don't know if you've opened it or not.
I've been in court all day, so I've not checked my.
So your
emails.
Brian Greer money's in that fact sheet as well, so you
And
should be able to
that's
see
about
that.
$300,000.
I look at so many of these, but I know Dennis has it up in front of him right now there, so. let's
You
see.
help me decipher this.
So if somebody wants to do a tally on this, in 2022, there was just over 173,000. 23, there was 30,000, and in 2024, 282,000. I'm cutting out the change in this. And then in 2025, it's at 98,000.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
So that,
583.
okay, all right. And that's just the Brown,
that's the Brian Greer money,
Okay.
yeah.
all right.
Do you happen to have on that what the state allocation for the state money is for this year? For the
Sorry,
20,
Dennis, can you scroll up for me there?
my,
Other way.
Other way, the other up, yeah. For 2025,
yes,
so for 2025, it looks like 229,846.
okay.
And we've spent most of that money.
Well, we have spent the 23 and 24 money.
To 23 and 24 money, with the exception of that,
Right.
you say about
I think that's
$5,000.
correct. So I think we had the 25 money plus the Brown Greer money to allocate.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we haven't spent any of the Brown Greer money,
None.
and there's 500 and what'd you say?
583.
And that's, obviously, that's money that's got less, we got more flexibility with that money.
Because there's no time. You said there was no time limit on it.
You don't have any time pressures on that. And again, so that gives you options. You can roll it into the annual cycle. If you have some big project idea that's gonna require more money, that means it gives you the option to retain that money until you build up enough to go do something. So you have options with that pot of money.
Yeah.
Well, I like the idea that we have a recurrent amount of money that we're not time restricted on, you know, it's like, that's our.
But it's a variable amount of money though, right?
Oh, it's progressively less
Yeah, I mean,
each year.
it tails.
And the
down.
state, but the state money is progressively less too, correct?
It's progressively, I mean, on the fact sheet, I mean, you can see, so this year from the state money, you've got 229,000. Next year, it's 150,000, so you can see
Yeah.
that drops.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it,
And
And then
but we
Brian-
know we know those steps. Those are already laid out, right? We should have a.
Yeah, so and with the state money, we can only ever calculate out about a 4-year projection, because the state does a recalculation every 4
Right.
years. So they don't like us putting out anything beyond that, because we don't know how that number is gonna shake out. The Brian Greer money is just a constant rate across the 18 years. Now, where you will see some variation over time is if one of those drug companies goes bankrupt and is able to get out of the settlement, you might see a fluctuation. And you still have maybe a couple of drug companies who might still get added into this. You won't see any massive changes, but you might see our estimates shift slightly based on those things. But we try to
but it's
notify.
more or less a constant, predictable.
Our estimates are shaking out as pretty darn good
Okay,
at this point in
alright.
time. And if we hear of any major changes happening, we would immediately reach out to Dennis and let him know so that he can inform you.
And the final payments will be at what point? When was this whole thing wrap up?
So, I mean, if I look at this, what's that,
2039, and it
2039.
looks like there's another year that's even not owned.
so yeah,
maybe, or
2040,
just-
and you're down to $14,000 from the Brian Greer money at that point. From the state money, again, we can't tell that far out, so, but it'll have dropped substantially at that point in time.
Do you expect the state to fund out to 2040, or do you think that money will be gone by that point?
I mean, technically, both are supposed to go, the settlement's supposed to go for 18 years.
Okay.
Essentially, all of the money is coming from one national pot. It's
Right.
just divided into two streams.
Okay.
So, but the settlement is across 18 years. The only thing, just when we talk about pots of money, and for everybody else in the room, just a reminder that the state does retain the biggest chunk of all of the settlement funds in Tennessee, and they do an annual grant cycle as well.
Right.
So if you do have any community organizations who are wanting to do bigger projects and you feel like it's eating up too much of the local budget, they should certainly consider applying for those funds.
Directly with the state.
Yeah, that's gonna be a
Directly to state opioid
totally different
abatement
procedure, not through us.
No, that would be, they open up a portal, you do your application online there. The only downside is it takes them quite a long time to score all of
Sure.
the proposals, to then make an announcement, and then to contract. So it's a good year after you've submitted a proposal before you will get any funding.
So we look efficient by comparison.
You said that, I didn't.
I mean, I was thinking it, I mean, I don't know. All right, so,
Does that help?
yes.
It does.
Yeah, quite a bit. So, I mean, the protocol that we used last year, I think, worked well. And I think, I move that we adopt the same framework. Do I have a second?
I second that.
All right, motion to adopt the same, the motion to adopt generally the same framework for the solicitation of ideas on how to spend the money and the review process. I move that we adopt the same procedure that we used last year. Do I have a second?
I second that.
Okay, all the ayes say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries. So as far as the specific implementation of this, we'll use the county. Dennis described to me exactly, well, that'll be on the county website like we did it last year.
We can do it that way, yeah.
Did it work
Right.
well?
As far as I know, I mean,
I thought it did.
the application process wound up in here, and I think that, I don't think that we actually had a template that
We didn't.
individuals could use online. I think they had to,
I think what we did is we put them on notice to get their ideas together and bring them down here. and
There you go.
Present them to us live, and I don't see any reason why we should deviate from that.
Trevor, have you heard anything tonight that gives you pause regarding compliance at all?
No, and again, there's nothing within the settlement funds that dictates how you do this
Right.
process. We just encourage transparency, fairness.
Sure.
You know, that's kind of really what you want to be doing. If you're looking for templates, we have some. I'm happy to send those over, and you can tweak them, use them, don't use them, whatever the case may be. And then accountability on what you fund as well. I don't know if you'd be tracking and getting reports back from the people you have funded. Again, we do have a data analyst on our team now, and we also have an evaluation specialist. So if you need any assistance in evaluating things you are funding, they are also at your service for free to help you do that as well.
Now, that's something we've not done. Of course, we've only, this is year one for us. Well, this is year two, but we've only been through one cycle of this. So we've not really, we've not had a process to evaluate how efficiently the money's been spent. But I figured that's what we would do this year, since it's already been underway for a year. And somebody that's applied for a grant, I assume, will apply for a resumption of the money for this year. And as part of that, we'll ask them how they used the allocation last year. You know, anybody that's a return customer, I guess, would be
Well, I can certainly send you
a
along
layperson way to do it.
some of the templates we have. For one's a budget, another's a work plan, and then
Yeah.
if you have the work plan, as you go through the year with that group, you can also
Sure.
talk to them about the work plan. What did you achieve that you said you were going to achieve? And that way, if it is somebody who's continually asking over the next period of years, you're getting a good sense of this.
I'm assuming that everybody that asked last year, at least, that some of the major people are gonna come back and ask this year. That's why I said that.
We are certainly available to assist you in trying to set up
Great.
sort of
Great.
anything that's to do with tracking and evaluation.
I believe you'll be able to hear some of that, because I know Mr. Nichols here with some statistics
Right.
off of what has happened over the past, 6 months is it 6 months or 9 months?
About 7.5 months.
Yep.
Of what he's able to produce out of his program, but, and then we can figure out how to implement it into the plan, into your program, and
Yep. So is everybody comfortable with the timetable as far as the solicitation going out in January and perhaps have until the end of February to submit the proposals, and then we would review the proposals in March? Is that, and does that comport with county budgetary considerations?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I
I
mean,
mean,
we're
we work on
essentially-
the budget through June the 30th, but we
So-
try to
so-
have it knocked out in the second week of June if possible.
I mean, basically, we're an advisory committee on how to
Yeah.
implement this particular part of that budget. I mean, all right. All right, well, let's put it in action then. So, who in the county is responsible for sending that out? It's not Mary Ann, is it?
That's,
Who's
To
responsible?
get it on the
Who's
website,
responsible for putting it on the website?
we can do that.
Okay,
I mean,
all right.
our IT girl, Cindy Reagan, takes
Yeah.
care of the website.
All right. All right. And everybody is comfortable with the end of February as far as the closeout date?
Yes.
I mean, it's gonna be 5 weeks to a month, 5 weeks to get it together.
So you're gonna do it in just 2 monthly meetings in January and February?
in the 2 months, I think that'll be when they get their application completed.
Right.
By the end of February, have another meeting, and then start bringing them in and doing the evaluation
Okay.
for the
Yeah.
first 2 weeks of March. And
You understand, we're gonna give them a window
Okay.
to submit.
I think last year you had the application on there, because I remember people
Yeah, he
talking
did.
about it not being able to.
They wanted to go online and
Right.
just edit and fill
Right,
in and
right.
do it all online. What we gave them is something that was
Print out.
printable.
So-
And then they brought those documents to the meeting or to the mayor's office prior to the meeting.
So, you know, if we're gonna conform to that timetable, by the second week of January, we ought to have something on the website.
Mhm.
By the 28th of February, that should be the close date, and then we should probably adjourn and have a meeting in early March to evaluate what we've got, and then probably set a meeting right after that to hear the proposals and to vote. Is that,
So you're saying actually have a physical meeting at the end of February? Because you said adjourn.
let me think. Okay, send the solicitation out second week of January. Hold it open, like I said, the window to submit bids through the end of February. And let's see, at the end of February, we should have every proposal ready to review. You know, we don't have to have 2 meetings where we need to have one, but we'll have a timetable that's gonna be set out in the proposal with the county. And it'll, like I said, it'll close out at the end of February, and then we can meet, we can adjourn, and we can reconvene this meeting in March, where we can receive the proposals and vote on them then, and that'll clearly fit with the county's overall budget workup. Does that sound right?
That's what we did last year.
Yeah,
What we did last year is we listened to the proposals, then we had a meeting and talked about the proposals. Then we took the amount of money that we had, we was able to create a
Yeah.
budget, and it fit and then we was able to, we had a meeting, presented it, and it passed, and.
But we wouldn't need a meeting in February because we won't have all the proposals done.
No.
So what
I
I'm
think
saying
we-
is,
Yes,
so,
That's what you're saying.
so we need to have a meeting in 1st of March
right.
Yeah.
where,
Then
where,
we can receive the proposal, they will do it, you'll be able to go over their proposal while they're doing their,
while they're doing the
Presentation.
presentation.
That's how we did it last
Yeah,
year.
yeah. And then we would have a second meeting
yes.
the following week or in a couple weeks,
Yeah.
while it's fresh on your mind and
Right.
allocate the money at that point in that meeting. So
So,
two meetings in March.
you know, March 4th is the first Wednesday in March. Or March the 11th is the second Wednesday in March. Does anybody have any preference between the 4th or the 11th?
I do not have my schedule with me, but I would say just do whatever you gotta do. And
I don't have a preference.
All right, so my suggestion is that we hear the proposals on the 4th of March, and then we meet to vote on the allocation on, say, the 18th of March. Is that okay? It's the day after St. Patrick's Day, that'll be all right. All right. So I move that we incorporate the timetables that we've just discussed. That is, that the request for proposals run second half of January, and that the proposals set the cutoff date on the 28th of February. We meet on the 4th of March to consider the proposals, and then to receive the proposals and the presentations by the people that want the money, want the grant, and then we actually meet to vote on the 18th of March.
Are you setting your very next meeting date right now? Is that what you're looking at?
That's what we're looking at,
Okay.
Our next meeting will be March 4th.
March the 4th, and then we'll follow on with the 18th. Does anybody have any concerns about?
March the 10th is our full legislative body meeting, just so you know.
We could meet 2 times in that 1 week.
Yeah, we could. We could meet the 4th and the 5th, if we have to.
The 4th and the 5th, there's a capital outlay meeting will probably be in here at 4:30, I think it is.
Well, we could meet on the 4th, and we could meet on the 9th, which is a Monday. That's before your capital outlay.
We have a work session. This room will be full on
Yeah, it would.
Monday.
You got that schedule, why don't you give us some, recommendations looking at
All
what,
right, March 2nd, 3rd, and Friday the 6th, and that week is empty as far as county meetings. The second week after that, we have the full legislative body work session 9th, the meeting the 10th, the 11th, which is a Wednesday like today,
Right.
is free.
I'm trying to keep them
Yeah,
on, we're kind of trying to keep them on Wednesdays, but I'm not hidebound by that.
Yeah,
Wednesday's good for me.
March the 11th, there's no county meetings.
It's usually my criminal day, but we're done by 5.
Why don't we do it March the 11th then?
Yeah.
Is that,
Well, that's gonna be after the full
after that,
commission
but-
meeting. Does that matter?
I don't think it does.
No,
Okay.
no. You're not making decisions until that night. And there's still, April and May are still,
Right.
we'll have probably 2 budget and finance meetings per month almost through the budget cycle.
So,
approval.
what do you think about the 11th to receive the proposals and the 18th to vote on them? Is everybody okay with that?
what's on the 18th?
Nothing.
All right, let's do that.
Yep, 11th, the 18th. That's,
So not the 4th.
yeah, sorry.
Okay.
All right. All right. Is there any further business to bring up?
Araceli, do you have a special request, a question?
Well, I was going to ask about some funding.
Come to the
Yeah.
microphone, please. I think you're asking a question that would receive a yes or no answer is what I'm thinking. So,
This is my first time coming to an opioid abatement.
Sure.
I am the county director over at the Coffee County Health Department, but I'm also part of the safety committee for Coffee County. And we just were looking at throwing out some ideas about getting some AEDs in each of the county buildings. And so that was just my question, if we could use the opioid abatement fund for funding of some of that. But I understand that it's, the recovery more so of recovery funds and
That would be an appropriate use of
Yeah.
the.
Okay.
By all means.
Lift somebody.
And this is a very timely question, actually.
Yeah.
I was skeptical as whether it would be or not because of the,
This question actually went the whole way up to the State Opioid Abatement Council, just, again, the intent of these funds is to try and abate overdoses. Are there overdose situations where AEDs are needed? Yes, there absolutely are. The only hesitation is, AEDs are expensive, and so blanket purchasing AEDs for a whole county is probably not addressing overdoses, if you know what I mean. There's a bit of a gray area here, so I would just say, it would seem like face value it is allowable. I would say be judicious just about
Yeah.
how many and where you place them and what the uses are. It's one of those things, again, it could eat up your whole budget very, very quickly, so.
I mean, we would consider that, you'd have to put some pretty good thought into the facilities you know,
Right. Obviously, the judicial center would be one.
Yeah.
It's a bigger building.
Yeah.
We probably need one in each level. There is currently not one.
What about the jail?
In the jail as well. So we're looking into it, and so it's very preliminary right now. But we could start with about 5 or 10 first, you know. But we have looked into the price, and we're looking at other vendors as well.
Do you have an idea about what the unit cost is?
It varies. It varies on depending on the, you know,
Okay.
but maybe about 800 to 1,500 each.
I mean, 5 to 10 is not gonna be what they
And
call a
that's a-
spit in the
that's a
river, it
start.
doesn't sound like. Yeah, I think that would be appropriate use of the money.
Great.
All right.
Could you repeat what your name is?
Araceli Castillo. So let me spell it for you.
How about that?
Aracely. Last name is Castillo. Castillo.
Okay, thank you.
Can I drop in a little idea just into the mix in this? Something that I saw Sumner County doing with their AEDs was that they also put naloxone in with the AEDs.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Which was a nice touch of ensuring that if it is an overdose situation, that you're addressing them, both are there together and
Right.
able to use. So just a thought.
That is a great idea. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
We are also at the health department, obviously, you know, we have naloxone and, you know, and anybody can come and get it, no questions asked. And so, and a lot of our county officials, our sheriff's department, our EMA, you know, they all have that as well. But that is something that we can include. That's a great idea. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it just preliminarily, I think that would be an appropriate use of the money.
Okay, great. Well, I will report back to our safety committee. Thank you.
Good,
Thank you
very
so
good.
much.
Does anybody else have any other comments from the audience? Yeah, so we have Mr. John Nichols here, who's our district public defender, and you're gonna give us a report on the use of the,
Yes, I appreciate it. We started getting funding on April 17th
Right.
thereabouts, so we're about halfway through, and I thought it was appropriate for me to come and in person and answer any questions that you all have. We submitted a quarterly report last quarter, and for the current quarter, I put together another letter that is just highlighting things. I'll pass that around.
for people that may be listening, that, what Mr. Nichols is talking about is that we allocated money to the District Public Defender's Office to augment their personnel staff, and we've authorized the hiring of 2 social workers, and it really is kind of, I guess, fill in the gaps for people that may not be drug court qualified for one reason or the other, but it's to get people in a recovery situation. Is that?
That's correct, yeah. We have focused on our clients that are incarcerated in our county jail. And you can see there that the last quarter, our social workers did 207 assessments, so that means they met with 207 clients initially just to see if there was a need. We ended up 45 treatment placements were started during that quarter. And if you turn the page, you can see that we actually had 51 treatments completed during that quarter, because some of them had started before the quarter, but 51 completed. And
So you've got a better than 75% completion rate.
yeah, it was 76.47% for this past quarter, which is great.
Do you have any way of following up on these people after they've gone through the treatment? I mean, once they get out of the justice.
We do. Our social workers stay in touch with them. We try to provide once they do get out of the rehab program, if they need help getting into an aftercare program, they'll stay along with them. That's kind of the secret sauce is creating that connection when somebody is in the right mindset.
Yep.
And when our clients are in jail, they're usually in the right mindset
Right.
to make those
Right.
those changes in their lives. So it's worked out well. To date, just to let you know, I ran those numbers. So to date, since April 17th, they've done 480 assessments, and they've worked on 121 treatment placements, and 69% of the people have successfully completed. So we have our funding that the committee gave us will expire on June 31st
Right.
of this year, or I'm sorry, of 2026, June 30th, I'm sorry, of 2026. I wanted to let you all know kind of what my plan is, because I remember when we first had this meeting, Mayor Hunt said, you know, you got to have a plan for the future, because this funding isn't always going to be here. So I
Right.
wanted to let you know what my plan for the future was. Getting back to what Mr. Henderson said, there is a state opioid committee, and they have a large pot of funds
Right.
that they analyze programs from across the state, and then they decide how best to do it. I am planning to apply for that, to hopefully get funding for this program for 3 years, because it'll allow you to do it up for a 3-year period. The caveat in that whole thing is, this next cycle of funding, if I got approved, would not start until the following fiscal year. So
Right.
it's not gonna start until 2027.
Right.
So I am going to come back and ask for additional funding from this committee for this next fiscal year, to hopefully get me to.
And that's basically to tide you in until the state fund becomes available.
Correct.
Right.
And it's not a guarantee that I'll get it, but I think, you know, the numbers that we've been able to produce and will hopefully give us an advantage when we go to make that presentation. But
I mean,
that's,
with that completion rate, you should be in pretty good shape.
you know, all the credit goes to my social workers. They do an amazing job.
Good.
And other than that, I'm just here to answer any questions that you all might have, because like I said, we are about the halfway point of the funding.
Most of the people that don't end up going through the treatment, do they just turn it down, or they start it, don't complete it? What?
Well, most of the people who, you know, that we meet with, we assess and decide that they're good candidates, and then we go to court and meet with the district attorneys and see if they're agreeable for them to participate with it, meet with probation. So there's a lot of different obstacles and hurdles that you got to get through to get a person accepted. And then once that happens, then it's, you know, finding the appropriate treatment placement. It's getting transportation all coordinated, and you know, we're trying to get it down to a science. You know, we have a log that we create once the assessment's done and the referral is made. We get them kind of in a system where we're like, okay, this is the next step. This is the next step. We got to get. A lot of times the jail does the transportation to the treatment center, so we got to coordinate with our local jail.
Right.
And you know, let me give props to the local jail for doing that.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Warren is great to work with and to do all that stuff.
Right. Very good.
Do you feel like you have enough personnel with the 2 social workers? Is that adequate?
Well, I have 3 social workers. I had 1 from the state originally, so these 2 supplement it. And I really feel like with these 2 extra, we're hitting we're not hitting everybody, but we're hitting most people. And so I feel good with the allocation of the 2 extra social workers. And that's what I'll come back to ask for. I'm not going to ask for an additional one.
Are most of these people misdemeanor offenders, or?
Misdemeanor,
Just runs a gambit.
we've tried to aim for Class A misdemeanors and low-level felonies.
All right.
Because the whole idea is, Harvard had done a study about social work intervention, and they found that there was a big correlation between social work intervention with people with Class A misdemeanors, low-level felonies. And so that's how I've tried to focus this program. And I've tried to focus it on the jail because, you know, if we can, unfortunately, you know, there's not a lot.
You have a captive audience over there.
Yeah, well, it's not just that. It's that, you know, unfortunately, you know, we just don't have the resources at our jail to provide a lot of
Yeah.
treatment programs. So this provides that alternative of, instead of a person remaining in jail and just coming out and not having anything, now we're hopefully getting them into a treatment program that will, you know, make it less likely that they'll offend in the future. So.
And you work this into most of the negotiated sentences that
Yes, yeah. So a lot of times we'll say, you know, we can get this person into a treatment program for a 30-day inpatient program in CADIS. you know, can we do that? And then we'll make it a condition of their probation that they
Right.
complete it.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. And you got a pretty good completion rate of people that go in, looks like.
Yes, no, I mean, obviously, I would love it to be 100%.
Sure.
But I think, you know, 3 out of 4 people that are entering the program
Well, that's a
who've got
actually
substance abuse
Good
issues.
statistic, yeah. All right. All right, well, obviously, that's an efficient use of the money. I mean,
There was one other thing I needed to request, and I forgot to ask this. With the original funding that we got, it was divided up between last fiscal year and this
Right.
fiscal year.
right,
And we ended up, once we got the positions created with the state, we used less money for last fiscal year. So I ended up not using, I think it was $5,611.28. And I didn't want to transfer that over to the state, because if you transfer it to the state, it evaporates. So
Yeah.
we kept it here local. But as we get closer to the end of the fiscal year, I'm going to have to look closely at the numbers. I'll probably need to request that $5,600 that I returned last year be appropriated to this year.
advance
So
to your 2026 allocation.
not the actual current fiscal year, because
Okay.
I'll probably be a few thousand over when you look into overhead and travel and
Gotcha.
all that other stuff.
I mean, I wouldn't see any problem with that.
Yeah.
Y'all,
I think that's very appropriate.
yeah, yeah, I mean, but you don't hear that a lot out of state. Public funding, all right. Very good,
I appreciate your time.
thank you.
Thank you.
May I add just a quick comment on that? And you may know this already, but Dr. Stephen Lloyd, who's the chair of the State Opioid Abatement Council, I think this was 2 meetings back, made a point of saying he would like to see more applications for that state funding that are related to jail programs.
Good.
And that, so I'm glad to hear you're gonna apply for it, and I would definitely talk up the jail portion of that in that application.
They're gonna be receptive to that.
No, he doesn't score them himself, but he did make that
I mean, he wouldn't
call
say that in a
that
vacuum,
They were
yeah.
not seeing a lot of applications related to
All
jail
right.
work, and
There you go.
and that is a particularly vulnerable population. I know studies
Yeah.
on that. It's, you know, within 2 years of being released from jail, if you're not getting help, there's a high chance
Oh,
you're
yeah.
dead, so.
Well, that's why I asked the question about, you guys you guys track these people after they run through their, inpatient rehab.
Yes, I mean, we don't track them for, you know, years after.
Right.
But, I mean, once we get them into the program and we get them into the next program, if we see them again, a lot of time it's because they have been rearrested, and then
Yep.
we start the process over
I
again.
wondered about
If we
that.
don't see them again, that's usually a good sign.
Yeah, right, okay. All right. So you have a good thumbnail as to how efficient it is, just by the fact that you're not seeing a lot of these people back.
Correct.
I mean, I don't wanna put words in your mouth, I'm trying to understand.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, all right. All right, anybody else have any comments from the, audience? All right, any of the members have any further business to bring before the committee?
I would like to mention that the Coffee County is in the process of establishing a new updated website, so I hope that we can get these applications for these funds more noticeable on our website.
yeah.
There'll be
I
either a
sometimes
banner
wonder how
or a
well,
button or something, so we'll work on that.
I sometimes wonder how well advertised.
Yeah.
That was a concern that I had last year when we went through this evolution. You know, unless you're checking that thing, you wouldn't necessarily know. But you
We had a
think-
lot of people reach out that knew this money was gonna be available prior to
Yep.
having any application process
Yeah, I mean,
implemented.
people that knew about it knew about it,
that's right.
essentially. I mean, do you guys know of any way that we could get well, I'm trying to think of another, you say that you're redoing the website, you think it may be more prominent?
Yes, I think so.
All right, okay. mean, other than that, I can't think of another way to get the word out any better.
We can use our social media post, I
yeah.
think.
Yeah, and we can, I mean, and, you know, we're kind of representatives of this, and we can talk it up. We know people that are in these programs. My drug court coordinator, you know, everybody that runs a halfway house and any kind of rehab program is kind of dialed into him. So I'll get the word out through him as well. All right. Does anybody have any further business to bring before the committee? Yes, ma'am.
I just have a question.
Sure. Sure.
Good evening. My name is Tasha Hill, and I represent Miriam House Recovery. And we are just interested, my colleague and I, Josh, are interested in applying for this. So you answered a few of our questions when we first came in. But we have just built a facility in Normandy. So we're on the Coffee County, Bedford County line, and I didn't know if it
Are
would.
you guys in the old parish patch? Okay.
There's
all right.
old school there.
Yeah.
Guys bought the school. The ladies, we just built ours. We bought a couple acres from the guys. But for the most part, we've been in Coffee County. We have since 2020, the guys since 2018. But we are on that, the Bedford Coffee County line. But would
Right.
it still be appropriate for us to apply for the money here, since we do serve people from Coffee County and bring people in from Coffee, Tennessee? I mean, everywhere actually we serve people across the
But a
nation.
good bit of your clients are from Coffee County?
Yes.
You know, if more than half your clients are from here, I think it's appropriate that you guys would apply.
Okay.
You know,
Are
that's
you
something you need.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Are you associated with Be the Bush Ministries?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, we're the women's side, and Josh is actually the director for Be the Bush, and I'm the director for Miriam House.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep, I think it'd be appropriate. And of course, you lay that out, when you come before us, how much of your service is actually directed towards Coffee County citizens? Because we have a responsibility to take care of our people primarily.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much.
Sure. Just watch the website, watch the county website. All right. Does anybody have any further comments or business to bring before the committee? All right, I move that we adjourn the meeting until March the 11th?
Yes, March 11th.
All right, now, if something needs to come up beforehand, of course, we'll make provisions for that, but, do I have a second on the motion?
Second.
All right, all in support of the motion to adjourn to March the 11th and then subsequently the 18th, say aye. Aye. Okay, the motion carries. Motion will be adjourned, the meeting will be adjourned until